Ladies and gentlemen, I now give you Mother Cheryl.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We are now going to do the salute to the flag. Oh, I should bring this down. Okay, I think everybody can hear me now. Please raise your right hand. Good and strong. Here's to this flag of mine.
Here's to this flag of
The
mine.
red, black, and green.
The red, black, and green.
Hopes in its future bright.
Hopes in its future bright.
Africa has seen.
Africa has seen.
Here's to the red of it.
Here's to the red of it.
Great nations shall know of it.
Great nations shall know of it.
In time to come.
In times to come.
Red blood shall flow of it.
Red blood shall flow of it.
Historians shall write of it.
Historians shall write of
This
it.
flag of mine.
This flag of mine.
Here's to the black of it.
Here's to the black of it.
400 million back of it.
400 million back of
Whose
it.
destiny depends on it.
Whose destiny depends
The
on it.
red, black, and green of it.
The red, black, and green of it.
Oh, flag of mine.
Oh, flag of mine.
Here's to the green of it.
Here's to the green of it.
Young men and women shall dream of it.
Young men and women shall dream of
Face
it.
shots and shells for it.
Face shots and shells for it.
Maidens shall sing of it.
Maidens shall sing of it.
Waving so high.
Waving so high.
Here's to the whole of it.
Here's to the whole of it.
Colors bright and full of it.
Colors bright and whole of it.
Pleased is my soul with it.
Pleased is my soul with it.
Regardless of what is told of it.
Regardless of what is told of it.
Thanks to God for giving it.
Thanks to God for giving it.
Great flag of mine.
This great flag of mine.
Arms back up. Loud and strong.
Let every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sound. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith and the darkness has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of new day. Let us march on till victory is won. Let us march on till victory is won.
Black power!
Black power!
Black power!
Black power!
Black power!
Black power!
Peace.
Peace, peace.
I now bring up our fabulous, our famous young minister, Brother T.
All right.
Famous and young. Peace. I am Brother Taharka J. Shakur. If you've ever seen me live before, you know the J is interchangeable. But since I'm not lecturing today, we just gonna keep it as the J. Welcome to the TOMA Nation's monthly worship service. We are an all-inclusive Black conscious righteous movement dedicated to the social, economic, and spiritual survival of Black people in urban America. If you enjoy what you see and hear today, the TOMA Nation would like to extend our invitation to you as you join us for each and every Sunday from 12 noon to 3 p.m. at the Bach Bear Center, located on the Magnificent Mile at 644 East on 79th Street in Chicago, Illinois. Come and be fed by God's messengers. For info on our Wednesday study classes, please call 773-846-3091. All righteous members of God's family are instructed to remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. The Sabbath day the Sabbath day starts on Friday evening at sundown to Saturday evening at sundown. The righteous members of the TOMA Nation observe the Sabbath by fasting, consuming liquids only, no solid food, every Friday evening to Saturday evening. The righteous members of the Temple of Mercy Association does a 3-day fast every third week of the month. The reason for this fast is that we discovered that all, and I repeat, all our food is poison. And if you fast for at least 3 days once a month, your body will destroy the toxic poisons that have built up from eating this poisoned food. Our next 3-day fast will be Thursday, December 20th, from sundown Thursday evening to sundown Sunday evening. And again, all righteous members of the TOMA Nation are practicing Ramadan in accordance with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad by fasting during the month of December. The purpose of this is to keep the righteous members from partaking in the celebration of the falsehood of the birthday of Jesus Christ, also to prevent the righteous from partaking in the celebration of falsehoods of Santa Claus. During the daylight hours, the righteous are to abstain from food, drink, and sex until after sundown. The righteous will also abstain from eating meat throughout the month of December, starting Saturday, December 1st. It is clearly stated in the Holy Quran, fasting is prescribed for you so that you may guard against evil. Surah 2, Ayat 183. On December 25th, that Tuesday, the TOMA family will hold a day of appreciation from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. All members of family, friends, please call Sister Makita to discuss the food dish that you will bring. You are invited to join us on this day to hear the truth about Christmas while the world is observing and participating in the devil's holiday, aka Satan Claus. We will be fasting, teaching, sharing, and reflecting on the upcoming celebration of Kwanzaa that starts on Wednesday, the 26th of December to January 1st. Then you can also join us on Monday, December 31st, as the TOMA Nation family holds its annual night of reflection from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. All members, guests, and friends, you are invited to join us on this day to reflect on the last 12 months that the Creator allowed you to experience. The true new year is April 1st, because that's when nature begins to spring back from its hibernation. While the world is observing and participating in riotous living, we'll be teaching, sharing, and reflecting. Those are the announcements for the Temple of Mercy Association. And now I have the honor and pleasure to introduce to you our co-founder of this righteous movement, Minister Omari Jahi Ati. Everybody just
Attention, present arms. Order arms. Original salute. Black power. Original salute. Black power. Original salute. Black power.
All right. I'd like to thank.
Power to
I'd like to thank. See me. I'd like to thank Brother Saharka for that introduction. I also would like to thank our Creator for all that He's done for us, to us, and through us. I'd like to start with our opening. In the name of the everlasting Father, He that causes all that exists to exist, He that is self-existent, is He who directs the sunships of millions and trillions of years, and is He who has made time the seed of the universe. He's known among the ancient Kemites or the Egyptians as Amun-Ra and Atum. He's known among the Hebrews as Ansof, Yahweh, and Elohim. Known among the Christians as Lord, God, and Jehovah, and among the Muslim or the Islamic world as Allah, the one God. He's known by the Rastafarians as Jah Rastafari. I bear witness that all of these names refer to the same one, Almighty God. And it is to Him and that one Almighty God to whom I give reverence and to whom I submit. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the earth flow through our veins, and we are that lost 13th tribe born here in North America, and we are of a Kemetic lineage. I greet you all in the ancient but yet holy words of peace, which are Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Habaragani, Alafia, and Ashe. Again, like Brother Khalid, Minister Khalid Muhammad, I don't want to be long, but I must be strong. And I want to come to you guys with a subject matter today that is going to be kind of deep. So like they used to say back in the day, you need to put on your thinking caps and tighten them up, put your seat belts on, because we're going to take a ride today. And I just want you all to really follow what I'm saying, because I'm going to do my best to try to make it as simplistic as possible so that we can understand it. Because what we want to touch on today is going to deal with math, science, and physics. Now, I know these subjects, if you're anything like me, I wasn't really feeling these subjects in school. Well, I did the arithmetic, because, you know, you learn how to add, you know, add and subtract and divide, you know, and so I can go in the store and make sure I don't get cheated, you know, with my money. So that was a priority. But algebra and geometry and trigonometry and chemistry, oh God, please. No, I didn't see the value that I see now. But even though I didn't see the value, still, I want you all to understand how it's beneficial for you and me today. My subject for today is called the mathematical equation for redemption. I'll say that again. The mathematical equation for redemption. Now, we need redemption. The city needs redemption. The state needs redemption. The country needs to be redeemed. Everything that we do needs to be done over. Redemption, just by definition alone, is an act of redeeming or atoning for a fault or mistake, or the state of being redeemed, rescued, deliverance from sin, salvation. We have so many people in the religious culture that believe in salvation. So if you believe in salvation, you need to tune in today, because we're going to be talking about how to be saved. And we ain't talking about by the name of Jesus, unless you're talking about just us. You feel me? All right. Everything we do, want, and strive to do demands power. Everything. If you don't have the power to produce what you see in your mind or perceive in your heart, then you are doing nothing but what I would call window shopping. And you know how we do. We go downtown and we look in the window. I wish I could get that. Ooh, I wish I could have that. You have a long wish list with not a lot of things accomplished. Because you can't accomplish the things that you want to accomplish without power. Y'all with me? But now, what is power? Power is the capacity or the ability to direct or influence the behavior of others. I'm going to say that again. I want y'all to hear me today. Power is the capacity or the ability to direct or influence the behavior of others. So now, do you understand now why people are saying that black people can't be racist? We don't have the power to be racist. We can't influence nobody. We can't even tell the dog what to do. But you know who do have power to influence the laws? Who influences the educational system? Who influences the judicial system? That's power. Now, there are some other terms that I want to, on the top, get out the way, because you're going to hear these terms within my lecture, and I want you to understand what they mean. I'm going to go back to them during the lecture. But power, a lot of people get power mixed up with energy. They are not the same. Most people think that if you have a lot of energy, you got power. No, sir. Energy is the strength and the vitality required to sustain physical or mental activity. Strength is energy. If you don't have any strength, you know, when you're not feeling well, if you're sick or whatever, you feel weak, right? A lack of energy. You're not lacking power, you're lacking strength, vitality, energy. So I want you to understand the difference between power and energy. We don't have power, we have a lot of energy. That's why we got a lot of sports stars. Because we're very energetic, we're very strong, we are strong people. We're just not powerful because we don't understand what real power is. But today we're going to figure out what real power is, brothers and sisters. Now, another term I want you to think of, remember, as we go through this lecture today, is force. You have to understand what force is and how to properly use it. And I'm not talking about just bashing somebody upside the head or having the energy or the strength to overpower someone. Force is strength or energy as an attribute of physical action or movement, cohesion, or compulsion, especially with the use or threat of violence. So you can use your strength and energy on a particular thing. It don't have to be a person. You can use force to produce an idea. It's energy. It's your mental strength. All of that has a play when it comes to force. It's not always physical. And last but not least, sacrifice. A sacrifice is a loss or something you give up. You know, like Brother Tark was saying, this month we're giving up eating and drinking during the daylight hours. That's a sacrifice. And as you give this thing up, usually for the sake of a better cause. Now, we're not just not eating or drinking just for the heck of it. There's a meaning behind it. There's a spiritual meaning, and then there's a physical and a health purpose for it. This is not that lecture, so I'm not going to go into it, but there's a reason for our sacrifice. Parents sacrifice time and sleep for their children. You know, so you understand what sacrifice is. You just need to put it in the right equation, in the right formula, so that you can be powerful. All of these key words that I just mentioned have a space or a place in the power equation. Now, the mathematical equation for power is work plus time. Work plus time. Because if you don't put in any work, y'all know what putting in work is, right? When you put in work, depending upon the amount of time that you put in, it's based on what you're going to get out. You put a little time in, you get a little out, right? We understand that concept. But look at this. Now, remind you, I'm bringing this from a mathematical and a scientific basis. Work results when a force or an influential act moves upon an object to cause a displacement. I'll read that again. Work results as a force or an influential act moves upon an object to cause a displacement or to cause movement. When you do something and you put your energy into it, you expect to see movement out of what you are putting work in. From a street level, if you out there slinging, or if you just a vendor and you out there selling product. When you go as a vendor, you expect when you come home to have less product than you had when you went out, right? That's movement. You're putting the energy into it by setting up your table and speaking to people as they go by, allowing them to know what it is that you have. So now that you have informed them of what you are selling, then hopefully they will purchase your product, and now you have movement, which is your product leaving out of your, what do they call it? Supply. So there are three variables that are important in this definition. Force, displacement. You know, when I lecture, y'all should bring a pen and a paper, I'm telling you. Because I should have been a college professor. I should have been. But I am. Y'all follow me? Yeah. I just didn't want to work for them. I'm working for you. But look, three variables that are important in this definition. Force, displacement. You know, displacement means movement. Whenever you hear that, know that it means movement. And the extent to which the force causes or hinders the displacement. Now that's really interesting. Because you can put a lot of energy and force into something and don't go nowhere. Spinning your wheels, almost like you on black ice, gunning it, going nowhere. But all that energy that's being put into it, but still you don't recognize or realize that you are putting your energy in the wrong place. So, this is an equation for work. Force times movement or motion times theta. Now I know y'all don't even know what theta is. Theta? Is that a Greek fraternity? No. Theta is not a Greek fraternity. But theta is actually a right angle. But before I get into theta, I want to deal with, you have to understand this thing dealing with force, because levels of force applied or not applied to your work will determine if the result of what you are working toward is reached. If you put a little, remember we was talking about putting in work? You put in a little energy, a little time, a little sacrifice. You sacrifice a little. And we think we're supposed to get a lot out of it. I hear a lot. Now, I'm an Uber driver. I just want to give you an example. And I hear a lot of people saying, I can't do that Uber. You don't really make no money. I'll make about $900 a week. I don't know about you. You know what? I put in work. Black folks want to get a quick fix quick. We want to go out there for an hour and come back with $800 in our pocket. That's how black folks think. We don't want to put in work unless you're working on some shady stuff. You put in work for that. Credit card fraud, we put in work. But you got to put in the time and energy in order to get the end result that you are looking for. Now, this thing called theta, theta is really a right angle.
90 degrees.
It's 90 degrees, it's a right angle. Oh, really? You know about that, man. Check you out. The most complicated part of the work equation and work calculations is the meaning of the right angle theta. The angle is not just any stated angle in the problem. It is the angle between force and displacement. In solving work problems or any problem, one must always be aware of this definition. Theta is the angle between the force and the displacement which is caused. I created a little chart. I don't know if y'all can see this. We have like a 15-second delay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hold it here for a minute until it comes up so that I can make sure that you all are seeing this. Do y'all see that on it? Can y'all see that? If you notice here at the bottom, this line is your force. And this line is the movement. So now, if you take your energy and push upwards, your force, or the direction of your force, is going up. So you have a 90-degree angle, which gives you the amount of accomplishment you should get when you go about something. But now, this chart here shows the same thing. If you see here, the force is the black line. I don't know if you didn't color in that, but, and the orange line is the direction of the force. And you see it's going in the same direction. They're horizontal, right? So now, if your force is going along, the direction of your force, that the energy that you're putting in is going along the same line as the force, then you're not getting anything done. That's like spinning your wheels on black ice. So that means when you do something, you have to make sure that the direction of your force is going upwards. Or as we would say, positive movement. Not just doing things just to appear to be doing something. There's a lot of black people in the black community that are doing a lot of stuff. Since we have a mayoral election coming up, we have a lot of black candidates saying a lot. There's a song out that was back in the day, say talking loud and saying nothing. They're doing a lot, they're putting in a lot of energy. They're putting in a lot of work in order to do what? Get your vote. Not solve the problems of the community. Because if they wanted to solve the problems of the community, they could have been talking about solving the problems of the community before election, couldn't they? But you didn't hear a peep out of them until it's time to vote. Now they putting in work. They putting in the energy. But you and I, brothers and sisters, we have to understand what we're dealing with here. This equation can be used by the righteous or the wicked. Science and math cares not about who yields the power of the equation. Now we, in the Temple of Mercy Association, our goal here is to re-educate and retrain our youth and our young adults to develop positive moral values as an alternative to delinquent behaviors. Now, this goal is something that we have to put power, energy, and force behind, correct? We can't just say it. Or how does it go? Something about being about it. I can't remember how it goes. But that's true. We can't just be living it too. We have to be about what we talk about. So look, power is defined as the rate by which work is done upon an object. It's the rate that work is done upon an object. Give you an example. If if I was a politician and I wanted to become mayor, the more billboards that I had, the more placards that I had, or the more volunteers that I have, or the more money that I have, it would give me the power that I need. Because remember what the power is the capacity to influence the behaviors of others. It would give me the power to be able to become elected. So it's not really about what I know and who I know or how I can help solve the problem, but it's about wielding power for my benefit. So power is related to how fast a job is done. Two identical jobs, a task, can be done at different rates. One slowly or one rapidly. So that means time has a part in this equation, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can take your time trying to do something. And somebody told a story about it. Yes, there's a story about a man that went to bed or went to sleep, and he dreamed about building a community center across the street from his apartment building. And when he woke up, he looked out the window and saw the complex that he dreamed about already built. The moral of that story is that you can go to sleep and dream about what you want to do all day without any energy, without putting any sacrifice and anything into it, and believe it or not, taking your time, somebody else is going to do that you thought about. And it may not be for the benefit that you would have probably done it. So work is the same in each case, since they are identical jobs, but the power is different. See, you might want to do the same things that another person is doing, but they're putting more energy in. I'll use sports as an example. You all saw the Cowboys, not basketball, I'm a football guy, sorry. You all saw the Cowboys and the Saints. Saints is a better team statistically, but the Cowboys put in more work.
They did that work.
They put in more energy. And the Saints came like they just supposed to automatically have it. They didn't really put the work in because they so good. Y'all know people like that. I don't have to practice. You know, that's the new musicians now. We don't have to practice. I'm so good. I know a lot of songs. I don't have to practice. Back in the day, bands practiced. They worked on their skills. But today, not just in music, but in just about anything, there's no practical practice put in place, or no energy, or no force, or no work being done other than people taking their time to get things done. And what it's saying here is that if you take your time to get things done, and a person puts in more energy and more work in doing what needs to be done, then the equation for power shows the importance of time. If you can do a job in less time than another person can do a job, who do you think gets hired?
The person do less time.
So, this is why you have to understand that power is work plus time. And I'm not talking about taking your time. You have to be on time and in time. Now that's another lecture too, because it deals with cycles. It deals with understanding where you are in time, which is again a whole other class. But the unit for standard metric works is the joule. Did y'all know that? A joule, and the standard for metric units for time is the second. So this is how they measure work, by joule. This is how they measure time, by seconds. Power, so the standard metric unit for power is joule / seconds, defined as a watt. Do y'all know what a watt is? Yes. Watt is the basic unit of electric, mechanical, or thermal power. Now, you hear preachers talking about walking into the light. How, if you want to be godly, you have to emanate the light of God. Where does this light come from? Minister Raheem teaches us that it comes from within. And it comes out. How do you get the light from within out? You have to put in work, brothers and sisters. You ain't gonna pray it out. You ain't gonna meditate it out. Well, there's certain, that's a whole nother class too. But an example, well, you all know about the example for watt. It's like you pointed at the light bulb, right?
Yes, sir.
So what is your wattage? And your wattage, again, is only a measurement of how much work and time you put into something. You got 10 watts? You got 20 watts? Or are you 100 watts based on the energy, the power, the time, and the work that you put in? Combining the combination of these equations for power and work can lead to a second equation for power, which is power plus time with work is force plus motion. So that now you have work and time, and you have force and motion. All these together is what produces what we are looking for in our black community and what we need in the black community, brothers and sisters, and that is power.
Yes, sir.
So that means if you're not sacrificing, you're not putting any energy into what you claim you want to do. We claim we want to be about a lot of things, and we are about a lot of things, but how much time and energy do we really put into a thing?
How do we be about it?
You know, and well, I ain't gonna do that, but I'll just say this: that there's a teaching that I was under, not was, but am under, that speaks of how you divide your time. There's 24 hours in a day. Remember, time is measured by seconds, right? Seconds, minutes, hours. So there are 24 hours in a day. 8 of those hours should be dedicated to your service to the Creator. Now, realistically, how many of us really give the Creator 8 hours a day?
Depends on what it looks like.
Well, Minister Raheem, not Minister Raheem, I'm sorry. Minister Farrakhan, I've heard him say that a lot of people are guilty of deceptive intelligence. Because we are very smart people. We are very bright people, brilliant people. If you could take a doggone antenna and create a crack pipe.
Yeah, you smart.
Who thought of that? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Because they took paraphernalia out the stores. That didn't stop us.
It didn't stop us.
But we are so smart that we can think ourselves out of our own success. Sure, I give We created 8 hours. When I get up in the morning, I pray. I wash up because cleanliness is next to godliness. I give service to the community. You know, when I'm walking down the street, I'm always telling people about what black people need to do, and you know, we'll create our own little what would you call it, job description as to what service to God is. But how do you know what you're doing is a service to God if you don't know how to communicate with God? Now that's a whole other conversation. We're not going there today. But my point is that if you have 8 hours of service to God, you're supposed to have 8 hours of recreation, then you're supposed to have 8 hours of, recreation and sleep. Let me make sure I put those together because they go together. And 8 hours of work or what they call it?
Avocation.
Avocation, exactly. Now, we understand 8 hours of work because you're going to get paid, right? 8 hours of sleep or recreation, or do we recreate more time, like 6 or 7 hours, and we sleep, which we should sleep 1 hour, right? Well, let's just be realistic. You might party for 4 or 5 hours. Realistically, I used to party back in the day. It's about 4 or 5 hours. But today, you know, we old, so.
It's about 4 or 5 hours.
It's about 4 or 5 hours. So that means you're only supposed to sleep 3 hours a day, right? Is that a reality?
No, sir.
So who time you tipping into? It ain't work time, is it?
It's God's time.
So now let's just be real. That if time is really a part of the power equation, and we are out of time, we are off time, because we're not using time properly, then you have an understanding now as to why power is not something that black people yield. We only yield energy. So, in combining these two, we begin to see, again, that there's this formula that's been created that deals with work, time, force, and motion. Now remember, I told you about the definitions that I gave you earlier.
Yes, sir.
Inside of that, sacrifice is not specified in the equation, but sacrifice again being the loss of something you give up, usually for the sake of a better cause. When you sacrifice, now give you a perfect example. If you have to work 8 hours, now dealing with time, if you have to work 8 hours and your recreation, let's say, whatever you do with it is up to you. If it's 4 to 5 hours, let's just say, then if you only have 3 hours of sleep, then those 3 hours of sleep, you sacrifice getting any more sleep because you don't want to tap in to the time that you're supposed to be serving the Creator. That's giving up something for what? A greater good, a better cause. Unless secretly, and I believe this is happening in our black community, whether we know it or not, we are secretly or slowly becoming atheists. Because you can't tell me you trust God and you love God, but you won't sacrifice.
Woo.
You won't take a chance. But you'll take a chance in the club, leaving your doggone drink on the bar when these Negroes putting all kind of stuff in your, smoking blunts behind people that you don't know what they putting in and they're laced it with, taking a pill from somebody that you don't even know because they tell you this is going to make you feel good, you're going to party harder. You'll take a chance, you'll sacrifice for that. Not all of you, but some of us will. And I'm saying that there has to be a sacrifice. Even in this movement, the Temple of Mercy Association, TOMA, we've been around for over 30 years. At least, what, 30 years, yes. 27? 27 going on 30.
Older than me.
Well, really, this last month would have been 28, I believe.
1990.
You were older than me.
You know, and in order to be a part of something, it's just like in any relationship. You can't expect for your relationship to work and you don't put any time in it. You don't put any work into it. You don't put any thought into it. And so, just like here in this movement, we ask our members to subscribe to a prescribed reading that every month we have a reading or book that we read in association to our spirituality and to our history and to our knowledge of who we are as a people. Now, there are some of us, and I say us because I'm one of them, that ain't into reading. You know, give me a movie. You know, a documentary or something. You know,
even say audiobook.
bro, I take that too. Audiobook. There's a reason why Minister Raheem asked us to read this month in Ramadan. We're supposed to be reading the Holy Quran. Stop. That don't mean we're Muslims. I already heard about that. Oh, let me turn this off now. They'll be one of them Muslims. Muslims. No, that's what they call them. Muslims. No, I'm not a Muslim. Never have been. I've never signed up, neither as Minister Raheem or any. I don't think anybody in here is. You ain't nothing. No, you something else. No, she wasn't Muslim. But none of us have ever been registered in the Nation of Islam. But that doesn't mean that we don't subscribe to what being a Muslim means, which is people of peace, or Islam. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't be striving to be peaceful people. We're not Christians because we don't subscribe to a religion. If you're a Christian, you're welcome to come here to TOMA. If you're a Muslim, you're welcome to come here to TOMA. If you're a Hebrew, you're welcome to come to TOMA. Sister Cheryl Aaron, Mother Cheryl, she was a Buddhist. Well, is a Buddhist. I ain't talking about was, is a Buddhist. But she's here with us, and she's with us because you don't have to give up who you are, because what you believe in should be, and hopefully is a part of what God wants us to come back to. Religion, I'm not going there. But my point here is that everybody is welcome here in the Temple of Mercy Association, and every month we have a subscribed reading that gives you some information and knowledge about other religions, other cultures, black religions, black cultures, because in TOMA we need to understand and know how to communicate with our people.
I say.
And if we can't communicate with our people, then what are we doing? Back in the 90s, we used to go on the CTA trains and give lectures on the trains during rush hour. We had our black suits on. Some of y'all that may remember us from back in the 90s, if you were back then, you seen us on the train with our suits on and we were giving lectures, but most of the time people thought we were Muslims and they didn't really want to hear anything about what we had to say. But we understood and we began to see that most of the people that were riding the train were Christians. So in order to open the door and get the ears open, we had to say, and this is not saying it just because we wanted to say it, but we believe that we are followers of Jesus. And we are. We believe in being Christ-like. That's what being a Christian is, being Christ-like. We have nothing against that. You want to be Christ-like? TOMA is for you. You tired of the hypocrisy of the fashion shows that goes on in a lot of religion? Hey, you come as you are here. You know, we just don't want you in no biker shorts and mini skirts and dookie drawers and all whatever that other nasty stuff y'all wear. Don't come in here all nasty. You know, come in here like you coming to see God. Be decent. You know, because we believe in our people coming to a oneness and understanding what we need to do as a people in order to gain the power that I was speaking about earlier. We have to put in work, brothers and sisters. But you can't put in work today and then take off 6 days. What about the next 6 days? We putting in work today. What we gonna do tomorrow? Oh well, my favorite show's on TV tomorrow. You know, so I can't help you, brother minister. The football game come on. There's a basketball game coming on. I can't help you, brother minister. I can't do nothing for you. But something happened to you, then you want to come to brother minister and want him to pray for you. I'm telling you, y'all better listen to brother minister. Because if y'all do something to him, y'all have to deal with me. And I ain't going to pray for you. I'm going to give you something else. No, I ain't talking about violence. These kids are so violent. But look, my time is almost up. But I need you all to understand that everything in life, everything that we do, there is a mathematical equation to it. And we as a people need to be redeemed. We need to be redeemed. The church needs to be redeemed. We as individuals need to be redeemed. Remember what redemption means, right? Atoning for a fall or a sin. But like a drug addict, there's nobody, I don't know, well, not too many people on the planet that will admit that I'm a sinner. I know back in the day, they stoned sinners. And I remember a scripture in the Bible where they was about to stone this woman because she was a prostitute, and Jesus stopped them. And for those of you that know the Bible, you know what I'm talking about. And he asked the question. He said, let ye that is without sin cast the first stone. This guy ran over and grabbed a big stone and grabbed. He said, you don't think God know about that woman you slept with the other day? Then he dropped it. Because what? All have sinned and fallen short, right? So, if we are under that understanding, then all of us need some help. And the help that we really need, especially in this day and time, is mental help. We've been saying it for a long time, we need to check up from the neck up, but I don't think we understood what that really means. And so, brothers and sisters, I'm loving what I'm seeing from our brother Chance the Rapper and Kanye. I'm loving what I'm seeing coming from them. The only challenge I have with it is that they are applying their desire to do something to change what's going on in our community with the same people that cause what's going on in our community.
Say it.
They're giving money to the same Negroes that threw us in the ditch. I'm saying, Kanye, Chance, y'all need to come holler at Sachs Preacher.
Say it.
He runs Chicago from the street. If you ain't talk to him, you ain't getting the real story about what's going on in Chicago. You need to call, you need to come holler at him. Just ask around. People will tell you. We ain't new to this, we true to this.
Tell it.
We've been around a long time in these streets. And we just ain't in the streets perpetrating a fraud, pretending to be something that we're not.
Did you say preach tending?
Pretending? No, sir, we are never pretending. Like I say, we're true to this. And I want each and every one of you to look us up. Go in the street and ask about us. The original Men in Black, the OMIB. Ask about us. We've been out here doing a great work, and when people saw us in the community, they loved what they were seeing. And we are in the process right now of bringing some of our young brothers up to par on what that is really all about. Look out for it because it's coming up. And before I get out of here, I want to tell you all about a fundraiser because you can't do nothing. Remember I was talking about putting in work and how you got to do something in order to get something. You can't do nothing without money. That's just the reality.
Sad when it is.
I mean, they say money is not that important, and I heard somebody say, but it's right up there with air. Let me see you live without it. You can't live without air, not gonna live without money. And so, understanding that, and in this organization, TOMA, we have never, listen to what I'm saying, in 27, 28 years, we have never accepted monies, or what would I call it? Grants from the government, or contributions from those who got us in the condition that we're in. And so because of that, we have to keep doing fundraisers in order to raise funds in order to keep the lights on, pay rent, and just to do the basic things that you and I know that we need to do even in our own homes. And so we have for the holidays, or the holidays, because ain't nothing holy about it. It's straight hell. But that's another subject too. But for the holidays, we had a cheesecake fundraiser from the company called Gourmet's Delight, Inc. Gourmet's Delight, Inc. You can look them up on the internet. Great company. I've had their cheesecakes. They're delicious. All of them are delicious. The best one is the pecan caramel.
That's right.
No, it's a pecan caramel? Yeah. There's two of them I like. Turtle and the pecan caramel.
They said the same thing.
They the same thing? No, it's different. It's two of them, right?
They're two different cheesecakes.
And then of course there's your lime.
Keep in mind.
What's your favorite?
Cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, cookies and cream is a good one too. But our cheesecakes basically run $22.75. And that's not a lot because they're gourmet.
And they're big.
And they're the big ones, right? Very big. And the deadline to get our monies in is December the 6th, which is this Wednesday coming up. So if you want to help us out so that we can keep doing what we're doing, we ask that you support our fundraiser by getting in touch with us on our, either through posting on our Facebook page or through Messenger, or you can contact me on my cell phone at 773-203-4032. That's 773-203-4032. And don't be on our page trolling either. We got something we do with trolls. Tell you, don't play. We ain't nothing to be played with, so don't be trolling on our page, because I'm telling you, we're gonna send them boys at you. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Minister ain't gonna let me do that. So, brothers and sisters, I thank you. Please, again, support our fundraiser, because we really need help. We need your help. But we already know that God is going to touch the hearts of those of you all that are really want to do something for our people. And you're going to see and you're going to know that we are really sincere in what we're about here at TOMA. So, brothers and sisters, I want you to revisit this video, share it with your friends, with those that are conscious like yourself, You know, so that this message can spread out to our people that we need to begin to apply ourselves, sacrifice. That's what they did in the 60s. Martin Luther King wasn't successful just because he could speak good. His speaking wouldn't have meant nothing if the people didn't sacrifice their time. Do you know those people? A lot of them didn't go to work because they were with Dr. King. They were missing money marching with Dr. King. So they were sacrificing. They were putting in work. They were using their energy, marching. Now, I'm not saying that marching is the key either. I hope y'all don't think that's what I'm saying. Just erase that from your mind. You know, I'm just using that as historical content. But you have to put in work, brothers and sisters. So I love you and I leave you as I greet you. In the ancient, but yet holy words of peace, which are Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Habaragani, Alafia, and Ashe. Peace. See y'all next week.